Excuse me. What are you doing? No, don't eat that. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jaclyn. If you're new here, I do a lot of vlogs and a lot of chat around my crafty life. In today's video, I'm going to share with you my current projects, some recently finished ones, and some projects that I'm currently working on. Let's start the video with a little outfit of the day. Today I am wearing my Tilly and the Buttons Agnes top sewn in a Lyrical Fabrics pointel. Pointel is a fabric that's it's a knit fabric that has, I don't know, let me get closer. If you can see, has kind of like a lacy texture to it. It's really, really soft and really comfortable. And the Agnes top, if you've been following me for any length of time, you know it's one of my absolute favorite wardrobe staple tops. It's just a scoop neck tee that has a variety of sleeve length options. It's one of my favorites. This one and the True Bias Nico top and the Megan Nielsen Rowan top are probably the three knits fabric basics, like wardrobe basics for tops that I make on repeat, my three favorites. So yeah, I really love this top. I wouldn't say that this pattern is really that well suited to pointel. I had to take it in a lot because pointel grows and stretches a lot as you wear it, so you kind of have to size down when you're making things with it. But if you're looking for a really good pattern that was designed specifically to use with pointel fabrics, look into the Paradise Patterns Honey Girl tee. I pattern tested that one and I absolutely love my final Honey Girl tee and will definitely be a go-to for other pointel fabrics that I have in my stash because I do have quite a few of them. In my last video, I shared with you a Fab Scrap fabric haul. Fab Scrap is a textile recycling company based here in Brooklyn. They also have a location in Philadelphia. And I went there with the express purpose of trying to find some leather because the previous time that I had been there, they had a lot of really gorgeous, beautiful leather options, and I have been wanting to get into leather bag making. But rather than purchasing brand new leather hides, I thought it would be good to get some from this textile recycling company just as a little bit of practice before doing anything with something new. Turns out they have so many gorgeous pieces, and I feel like I really will make Fab Scrap a go-to if I'm looking for leather in the future. So many neutrals, for example, like all the blacks and browns you could ever want. But I really was going in search of burgundy or some sort of olive color because the bag I have in mind, I could really picture in one of those two colors. So this is my first little foray into bag making, and this is a almost finished project. This is the Studio Motif origami bag. I should have looked at the instructions or the pattern pieces before making this adorable little bag because if you are familiar with the origami bag, you will know that it is much bigger than this, and that's because the original design is not pieced together like I thought it was going to be. It's actually one long continuous rectangle that you fold in certain ways, as the name origami should have suggested to me, but you fold it to create the final bag. And it turns out, although my pieces of leather were quite generous in size, that I needed one like kind of long, narrow piece to make the bag, and the piece that I had was more like squarish in size. However, I still really wanted to make this bag and I had my heart set on it, so I decided to just make a smaller mini version, and my phone actually fits. Do I have it with me? Yes. My phone actually fits just fine in here, so that's it with my phone in there, and there's room for like a wallet or something else. The bag I think is really cute. I think it turned out really well. There are a few things that I want to do to finish it. So for example, I have this little piece of cardstock cardboard in here. What I would like to do is take some of the scraps of the leather that I have, wrap this piece right here and glue it, and then glue it into the bottom of the bag just to give it a bit more structure because this leather does not have a lot of structure. It's a suede technically, and it's quite slouchy. So I think if I covered this kind of bottom cardboard piece with leather to make it look nice on the inside, it definitely gives it more structure. I don't think you can, oh, you can just see it there. It sits nicely, like if I put that bit of structure in the bottom. And then the last thing I want to do is I'd love to get two like magnets to make like a magnetic closure on the top just for security and peace of mind. I mean, it's a handbag. It's not like I could put this over my shoulder or anything. So I'll always be holding it like this. But it would just be nice for, you know, security purposes to have a bag that magnetizes closed right here. And then I think it will be finished. I plan on inserting those magnets by kind of making two little pockets as such, like right here, to like slip the magnet into. I think that will be the best way, and try and do like some invisible as I can sewing of these little pockets to hold the magnets in place. But that's the plan. But it's a finished object per the pattern, but it's not finished per the adjustments that I would like to make to it. So here's the bag. I think the color is just stunning. Like I said, this leather from suede from Fab Scrap really is gorgeous. This kind of dark burgundy purple color, and it's so soft. And I do have some left over to make something else with. So that's the first project that I finished recently. The next finished project I want to share with you is the rainbow corset dress. This is a self-drafted dress that if you are watching any of the Vlogmas episode, the later episodes of Vlogmas, you'll have seen the saga that was this dress. I say saga like it was a bad thing. It wasn't. It was just troubleshooting. That's how it goes when you're self-drafting, I feel. But yeah, I love how this dress turned out. I honestly can't believe I made this myself and self-drafted it myself. I'm just so impressed, if I do say so myself, with my own skills. It is by far my best fitting project to date. Well, it's hard to say best fitting. It's definitely the closest fitting project I've made to date. And because it's a corset, I had to like really massage it and work with it to get a good fit, but I'm so happy with how it turned out. This rainbow plaid, while stunning, is so different from my personal style. This is a fabric that Blackbird Fabrics stocks. I don't know if it's a Blackbird Fabrics exclusive. Blackbird Fabrics is a fabric shop that is online only based in Canada. It's very different from my personal style, but when I saw it, I just fell in love with it. I really liked it. It's a linen, yarn dyed linen in this rainbow plaid colorway, and it's so beautiful, but it's so different from what I would normally wear. So I think pairing it with this more like sexy design of the corset and the circle skirt, I just think it brings it more into the realm of my personal style. And the final piece, I think, is just like one of the best things I've ever made. It got a lot of hype over on Instagram, which was cool to see how much everybody else enjoyed it. And yeah, you will definitely be seeing more of this dress in my future. This just fits me so well. I think it really suits my body shape. And yeah, I'm really pleased with the final result. Like I said, it's self-drafted, but it's a half circle skirt on the bottom. And then I kind of had to do, so if you watched Vlogmas, you'll know, I cut out a pieced corset for the bodice originally. But because the plaid, even though I tried lining up the pattern pieces across the plaid, it just wasn't working. And so I decided to try an approach where I was cutting the bodice all in one piece and then inserting channels, like making faux piecing or channels in it so that the fabric was like continuing, like the fabric print was continuing symmetrically and evenly all the way around the bodice. And this worked like a charm. I really could not be happier with how it turned out. For the bones, I actually had intended to use some plastic Ridgeline boning that I have in my stash, but the Ridgeline boning I have in my stash is 3/8 of an inch, and when I sewed the channels, I sewed them a little too small for that, and so I had to use zip ties, which are really an excellent alternative if you don't want to or can't buy Ridgeline boning for some reason. The good thing about plastic boning is you can sew over it, but it is definitely more structured than the zip ties are. But the zip ties still give it like a really nice structure. It's just more flexible and probably more comfortable than the Ridgeline plastic boning is. And you can sew right over zip ties, just like you can sew over plastic boning. Zip ties will definitely work in a pinch, and it's narrower. Of course, you can get Ridgeline boning in many different widths. So if I had the plastic boning in 1/4 inch, I might have gone for that, but I really honestly can't tell. It's just like, yeah, I really love how it turned out. So that's the finished dress. Hopefully I've inserted some clips by now of me wearing it so you can see, but it's just such a good one. Like I said, we'll definitely be making another one of these dresses in the future. Which brings me to my next project, which is not the dress version, but I've been making a separates version of just the corset. So my self-drafted corset, I'm kind of following the same recipe that I did before. So this is a work in progress, but instead of being a dress, I'm just making the corset top. For this project, I'm using a black tencel twill as the outer shell, the main fabric, and then on the inside I have a black, I don't actually know what this is anymore, I just pulled it from my stash because it matches, but it's either cotton lawn or cotton voile or something like cotton shirting, black cotton shirting, something like that. Just something that's next to skin, comfortable. Really, for the most part, unless it's a jacket like or a blazer, I tend to go for more cottony linings because I just find that more comfortable next to skin than something, say, like a rayon, Bemberg rayon or a silk charmeuse. I don't really like those fabrics for linings very much unless it's for like a blazer or a coat where I'd need to like slip it on over clothing. If it's next to skin, I much prefer cotton linings. That's just something that's more comfortable for me that I've realized over the years. But yeah, I'm sure because it's black, it's going to be almost impossible there if I hold it to the light. You can see, but yeah, all the same exact technique that I used for that, except I added 2 additional seams, if you will, to it right here on the side, like 2 that curve from the side seam down toward the body. I didn't have that on my original one, and I just think that that will be a touch that looks even more flattering to have seams that kind of go angularly down from the side seam toward the front more. I think that will look really nice. So yeah, so that's that. Really, there's not much left to do on that. I've done all the channeling, inserted all of the bones. Before I insert the zip tie into it, you can see mine is pointy on the top. So what I do is I trim it into like a more curved shape, not to be so pointy, and then I light a candle and stick it in the candle and just kind of push it flat so it's not super pointy on the top. Because if the fabric has a more loose weave like that linen one, say, it will poke through, even though it's not sharp, but it will poke through if it's got a loose weave. So just to be safe, now when I use the zip ties, I just cut them off the top, cut the tips off, and then kind of use a flame to melt it flat. So not much left to do on this one. I just need to bind the bottom. I'll trim it, I'll try it on, trim it to be straight, not like totally straight. Like I kind of like how it's got some angle to it here. So not totally straight, I'll cut like a curve to it, and then I need to go and find / buy a separating zipper to use on this, because I think I'd rather you have a separating zipper than do any sort of like grommets ties situation, but I don't know, we'll see. I haven't really decided on that, but that's really all that's left is whatever I decide for the back closure and then binding the bottom. And I think for the bottom, I'll just do like a bias binding on it or something like that, either an invisible bias binding or one that actually is visible. I think that could look nice. The top is just a clean edge. Again, not sure if you can see that because it's black, but it's a clean edge. It is lined, and I just understitched it to keep that lining on the inside. But yeah, I'm really pleased with how this turned out. I can't wait to wear this. I know I'll get a lot of use of this in my wardrobe. So in that same vein, I actually sketched out, where did I put the little sketches though? Here they are. So when I was at my parents' house, which is where I started that corset, I made these little sketches of projects that I want to make. So here's this one right here. It's like a little corset and pants. I'm not sure if the contrast on this is high enough to actually see it because I drew them in pencil, but a pair of Persephone pants and then another one of the corset dress. But in this first sketch with the corset top and pants, I wanted to make a matching set. So I have cut out a pair of the Paradise Patterns Prota Pants. I've owned this pattern for a while. I think I did purchase it last year in 2023, but I've been wanting to make these for a while, but I just hesitate a little bit with pleated pants, I've been kind of umming and ahhing. Even though I've had it cut out for days, I haven't started sewing it yet, which is usually a red flag for me, or something that's like indicating something's not right about the project. I really love the style of the Prota pants, like with the pleats, the double pleats pants. I think they're so stylish and of the now and classic also. But because I am a pear shape, I tend to stay away from patterns that have more fabric at the waist. So things with gathered skirts, pleated pants, pleated, just more fabric at the waist and hips, I tend to stay away because I'm already a pear shape. So that's just further emphasizing the pearness of my body, which, just to be clear, I have absolutely no issues with. I love my body, but it's putting like more imbalance into that shape, like when dressing. And so as much as I love the Prota pants on other people, I think part of me is like wondering, is that going to be a style that suits me very well? So I haven't started sewing it yet, but I have cut them out because I just can imagine this corset with a pair of Prota pants. Like, how great would that look, right? I think that would be such a chic look. So I've cut them out. It's too late now, and I bought this fabric specifically to make the Prota pants. So it's the same fabric again. It's that black tencel twill. This is actually called the Brook tencel twill. You can get it online. It's from Mood Fabrics, and it comes in several colors that are really good. They have black, they have a beige that I've used a few times, they have it in white. I think they even have like colors as well, but it's just like a good tencel twill basic if you're looking for one. So I even bought this fabric with the Prota pants in mind. And I think I also want to make like I bought enough to make pants and a blazer, and I think I want to make the Heather blazer by Friday Pattern Company potentially. I don't know, we'll see. But anyway, so I've cut out the Prota pants. They are here. They are ready to go. I'm hoping that this turns out. Historically, pants and I have trouble fitting them. So we'll see, like finding pants that like suit my body shape. Really, the Anna Allen Persephone pants are the best ones I've come across so far. I've made 9 pairs of Anna Allen Persephone pants and shorts combined with the shorts. That pattern just really suits me. So I keep making it over and over, but I would like to have more styles than just the Anna Allen Persephone pants in my wardrobe. So I'm hoping that the Prota pants are for me. I've tried other pants patterns with not a lot of success, so we shall see. So fingers crossed for Prota pants. I have them cut out here. This will be a matching set with the corset. I think it's going to be such a great set when it's complete. Those are my 2 sewing works in progress. I do also really want to cut out, even though I've made, like I said, 9 pairs of Persephones, and I would like to start like making other pants patterns. But the white pair that I do have just don't fit well anymore. And so I showed this fabric in my last video. It's a white denim. I would really like to make another pair of white Persephone pants in this fabric right here in my current size. So that is definitely going to be on the menu soon once I finish those 2 projects, and then I have some white cotton shirting to use for the pocket bags. Those are all of my current sewing works in progress. Now I'm going to show you a knitting work in progress, which is the vest that I've been working on. I forget when I cast this on. It was last fall, but I just work on it slowly whenever I feel motivation to do so. This is a vest project. It's the Knitting for Olive Eton slip over, to turn it inside out. It is a top-down V-neck cable knit vest, and I'm using just like a bare yarn. It's a merino cashmere nylon yarn to knit it in, and it's really soft, classic piece. I really wanted to finish it in time for the cold weather to wear on my walks. I'm not sure if when I'll finish it. Like I said, I'm just kind of working on it as I feel motivated to do so. But yeah, I'm knitting the size small. It is a more oversized fit, so check the final garment measurements if you want to cast this one on before deciding on a size. But yeah, it's looking really good. I'm right now just in the body, so I'm just knitting the same cabling pattern in the round, and I think the cable repeats every 12 rounds, so it's quite mindless at this point, so I'm just kind of knitting it as long as I want to make it. I am using, as I mentioned, that bare MCN yarn, but it's a DK, it's technically, I think the pattern calls to hold 2 fingering weight yarns double, so you could use that or you could use a DK weight yarn, and it's just in this cute little project bag that holds all of my stuff. I have a little row counter to keep me on track. I forget where I got this. I want to say it was Flying Tiger, maybe. I can't remember. It's like a, yeah, just a cute little row counter. Yeah, here it is. Making good progress on that. It's very soft. I'll be excited to finish this one. I think it'll go nicely into my wardrobe. I'm not sure how much I'll actually wear this like in the day-to-day. Like I said, I feel like it's more gonna be a piece that I use for my walks every morning. And if you don't know, I live quite close to Prospect Park, and my favorite form of exercise at the moment is going for a daily walk around the main loop of Prospect Park every morning. It's like 3.5 miles. But it's cold right now, so you have to bundle up to stay warm. The last thing I want to share with you guys today are some new stash acquisitions. I was just visiting my family in Tennessee, and so whenever I have an opportunity to go to a Joann, I definitely take that opportunity. Many of you might be wondering why I would be excited to go to a Joann in the first place when I live in New York City, and the short answer is I totally agree with you. New York City is an amazing place to shop for fabric, but it's more particularly suited to apparel fabric. We don't have really any, we do, I'm sure we have a few, but they're probably pretty far from me. I think in Queens there are a few, but quilting shops. So a place to find quilting cottons. Don't really have a lot of those in New York City anymore, especially with the closure of Gotham Quilts. They're brick and mortar, at least they're now online only. So whenever I can go to visit my family, I always take a trip to Joann to pick up some quilting cottons. It's been a long time since I've made any quilts. Those of you, if you know, you know. Quiltgate of, I think 2017, I made 4 quilts in a month, and after that, I just like was scarred for, not for life apparently, scarred for however many years it's been since 2017. But I haven't made a quilt since then. But now I'm really feeling the itch. I discussed it in a previous video over Vlogmas that I really want to make a new quilt for mine and Andrew's bed. And I have settled on the Pearl Soho Tiny Tile quilt. I think it's just gorgeous, the perfect mix of like modern and traditional. And if you know me and my Instagram, I love like tile floors, and it just gives me that mosaic tile floor vibe. So I shopped for that quilt project while I was there in Tennessee, and let me show you the fabrics. Okay, so for the mane, I've just gone for actually like a natural muslin. Natural meaning the color tone of it. It's got a little more creaminess to it than like a stark bleached white muslin fabric. All of the tiny tile quilts that I've seen on Instagram, I really tend to prefer the ones that have the lighter color backgrounds, but I didn't want to do something stark bright white. I want it to be just a touch warmer than that. And in hindsight, I actually feel like I could have gone maybe even a little bit warmer, like something more in the oatmeal range, but this they had plenty of quantity of, and I'm gonna use this as my main fabric for the kind of background, if you will, of the front. And I'm also gonna use this as my backing fabric. So I got a lot of this, I think like 10.5 yards. And then the fun part, all of the colors that I picked. So yeah, I just kind of mix and match things in the aisle of Joann until I found something that I was happy with. Let me kind of arrange them so I can show you all of them at once. I'm missing, oh, here it is. So I've kind of gone for a somewhat complementary color scheme. I'm using a lot of greens and reds, and then I've mixed in some browns and terracottas into it. So I'll go through them one by one. Here's like a chocolate brown color, this kind of plum burgundy color, which is really similar to this other one. But again, I feel like when you have like close colors with this particular quilt, I think it looks really good. So I don't know if you're gonna be able to tell on camera, but this one reads a little bit warmer. It's more like dark brick red. And then this one is more like plum. It's a cooler tone and warmer tone. So these are the 2 reds that I got. I got this olivey pea green color, love that one. These are the only 2 that are not quilting cottons right now. This one's I think like a chenille fabric. It's definitely, both of these are home furnishing fabrics. This is kind of like a chenille, and this one's like a faux what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a faux velvet. It's not really velvet, I don't think, at least. But yeah, I love the texture of those. And then I have this kind of bottle green color. I'm still on the fence about whether or not I want to include this one in it. For some reason, whenever I kind of hold all of these together, I'm kind of feeling like this looks better than this. I think because this is one of the only cool tone colors in the palette and it's like throwing it off for me, but every person that I show this palette to likes the bottle green color in it. So we'll see, but it's kind of like this blue green. This one right here, which is, I don't really even know how to describe this. It's like a gray blue green. And then lastly, this one right here, which is like a lighter warm brown. I have also ordered 2 other colors. I've ordered a dark olive to try out with it instead of maybe this bottle green. So I've ordered kind of like a really dark olive. And then I've also ordered this color called Spice, which is like a really dark burnt orange brown color that I think could look nice. So I don't want to get too crazy with it. I only ordered 1 yard of each of those. So each of these, I actually only needed half a yard. So each of these is half a yard. And so I have just kind of, I don't want to get too crazy with the palette. I want to limit it a little bit, but I think because these colors are kind of, they're so close in nature that I don't think it will make it feel too busy and overwhelming. So we'll see. Once I get those other 2 colors, I'm going to kind of mix and match and play with them and see what I think. And narrow down my final selections, but it will definitely be from those 2 and these right here, that these are the colors I'm working with. So I'm really looking forward to sewing this and putting this quilt top together. I had to do some math to make it big enough for a queen size bed. So I forget like the final dimensions that I'm going for, but I'm gonna size it up to make it a queen size quilt. And then I think the construction of it is really fun. So I'm gonna cut out all of the small squares of the fabrics first, and then you're supposed to kind of put them in a bag and shake them up and randomly pull them out to give it that like more random mosaic feel to it. And I feel like that is very different from how I tend to approach projects, which is with a lot of heavy color management. So I think I am gonna do that. I'm gonna try that. I'm going to cut up all the squares, randomize it, and of course I can always color manage a little bit when I'm laying out the quilt, but as far as putting together the blocks for it, I think I am gonna follow the instructions and do it in that random way by shaking up all the colors together in a bag and just randomly pulling them out and seeing what happens. So yeah, I think this is gonna be a really great project for me. I'm excited about it now, but this of course is one of my favorite aspects of quilting, is putting the colors together. The other part is sewing the quilt top. I'm kind of dreading all of the cutting out. I hate cutting out stuff for quilts. Cutting out projects in general is just not my favorite thing to do. So dreading that, but a necessary evil to get to the sewing. All right, so I have a few more fabrics that I want to share with you that I also picked up while I was in Tennessee. The first one is this rayon challis that's like a horoscopes design to it. It has like the astrological signs on it, both represented by either like the wheel here or the different characters associated with astrological signs. I don't know. I love anything celestial, witchy. I love it. So found this one. I got enough to make a top. I think that fabrics that have really high contrast in it are a little too overwhelming for me for a dress. They just kind of wear me instead of me wearing it. So I like the idea of making this into some sort of top because I feel like I can then pair it with like solids for the bottoms that will kind of tone the overall outfit down a little bit. That's just my personal style and how I like to dress. So that's the first one. The next one I got, and I almost didn't get this, and it's like probably one of the fabrics I'm the most excited about. I think it's some sort of poly blend, actually. I got it from Joann, but it's this Waffle Knit, and it is so unbelievably soft. I am turning this into a robe, and I cannot wait. So if you have any good robe patterns, could you let me know? I found a good one that's free from Mood. Ideally it's free because it's a robe, it's not a complicated garment, but even if it is a paid for pattern, I would love to hear any suggestions you have for a good robe pattern. But I found a good free one on Mood that I might use if I don't see anything else that I like more. But yeah, this really gorgeous cream waffle knit fabric. And then two more that are kind of similar. I was clearly in a mood. I got this one first. It's this really pretty, I have to unfold it a little bit so you can see, sheer mesh that has these little daisies on it. They're like white daisies with an orange center, and I just think it's so cute. Again, because it's like an overwhelming print, I didn't want to like make a dress with this. I feel like that would have been too much, so I got enough to make a top, but I did get enough to make some sort of like flutter sleeve top, because I think that could be a really cute statement piece and adorable with some sort of like skirt or with jeans or something like that. And then the last one is this fabric right here, which was technically in the bridal section of Joann's. It was a pricier one, but I really loved it, and so I got 1 yard of it, which will be enough to make a mini skirt. So I think I'll use this and then some sort of like solid white underneath it, and this is the overlay, and make a really cute skirt with it. So I think this will be a fun piece for spring and summer, a little bit on the dressier side, and then I could pair it with either like tank tops or corsets or other things to make it a little bit more edgy, I guess you could say. But I like the fabric. I thought it was really pretty. It's got these like white embroidered flowers with gold centers, and it's on a mesh fabric. And then on the bottom, actually, there's kind of a, it's not a border print, but it's almost set up that way where it has this really pretty mesh on the bottom that's just plain. So if I wanted to, I could make the overlay longer than the skirt that's underneath it, so that like this peaks, like the skirt could, obviously the skirt would not end here, but if the skirt ended on the fabric like right here and then this kept going. Does that make sense? I'm not sure if I'm explaining that well, but yeah, I think that this kind of like border on it could be something that I utilize in the skirt's design. So right now I have in mind McCall's 8051, which is a really great pencil skirt pattern. I've used it many times, and I really like that one. That is it for what I'm working on. I hope you guys enjoyed this little catch up on my projects. If you want to see more videos from me, you can always subscribe below. It's my intention to post more like crafty specific videos, and I would also like to intersperse vlogs into my YouTube channel just because I really enjoy making them. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.